It's not quite finished yet, but this Sri Lankan resort is the place where 50 Commonwealth leaders, including David Cameron, will gather for the biennial Commonwealth summit. And it's the image that Sri Lanka wants to project, the image of a country rebuilding itself after years of civil war, and the image of a country taking its place once again on the world stage. The question is how much that image conforms to reality.
Sri Lanka's civil war ended in 2009, but signs of the pain and terror of the conflict remain. A few hundred miles north of the venue of the summit, I found reminders of the tragedy still buried in the sand.
This is where 26 years of civil war in Sri Lanka climaxed. On this beach and in the surrounding area, 330,000 civilians were trapped. They couldn't go inland because the Tamil Tigers were shooting anybody who tried to escape. And they couldn't head in this direction because they were trapped against the sea. They had nowhere to go. Ironically, the government called it a no-fire zone. But on this beach and in the surrounding area, about 40,000 people were killed in the space of 4 months, according to the United Nations. It was a bloody crescendo to almost 3 decades of conflict.
The end of the civil war was supposed to open a new era of democracy. But President Mahinda Rajapaksa's authoritarian government continues to persecute its critics. I visited an opposition member of the Northern Provincial Council, whose house was attacked by scores of soldiers the day before last month's election. She is convinced that the soldiers' motive was far more sinister.
They walked in asking for me. They said, "Where is Anandi?" If I was here, they would have murdered me. In fact, they wanted to murder me.
Despite the end of the war, the government has kept the Prevention of Terrorism Act, which allows anyone to be held without charge or trial for up to 18 months. I spoke to one woman whose son is in prison. She's too afraid to appear on camera or to give her name, and she worries about the treatment of her boy. Some people are held under no law at all. Anton Senestin Manuel is one of more than 5,600 Sri Lankans who have simply disappeared, abducted in the middle of the night by state agents. The independent press is also under constant pressure. I saw the aftermath of the destruction of the printing press of Uttayan newspaper by 3 men armed with assault rifles. And one journalist said that nothing was ever done about these attacks.
What's of concern is that it's the culture of impunity. Nothing has been done with regards to investigating those behind the violence against journalists during war and post-war. Nothing. There are investigations ostensibly on. Perpetrators go scot-free or unbrought to book. And it's that culture of impunity that gives rise to more violence in the future, and that's our concern.
This might be the image that Sri Lanka wants to project to the world, an image of scenic beauty and an image of a country ready to receive the world's leaders. But the reality is disappearances, abductions, the intimidation of journalists and the harassment of critics. And the reality is that this takes place all the time.